everybody. Today we're going to be talking about mandatory masks that they're talking about here in Canada. I've been wearing a mask for a long time now. Obviously not the mask that everyone suggests I should be wearing, but in any case, it is the mask that I feel most appropriate with. It's a Halloween mask, the Guy Fawkes mask. I've worn that everywhere from Walmart, Costco, Whole Foods, up and down, local streets, all that stuff to make a point and so forth. But now, like I've said in other videos, what is voluntary at one point kind of just creeps in and essentially becomes mandatory. We're not at that point yet, but just the various news outlets around here in Canada are just starting to discuss, is it time to make masks mandatory? Should we make masks a requirement in order to go into food stores, go onto public transit and all this kind of stuff? So like I said before, so people think vaccines, they're never going to make that mandatory. It's just your perception of things. Anything can become mandatory as long as the government feels that the general population will support it. They'll take things absolutely as far as you let them. And if you haven't learned that lesson yet in history, just look all around us. Look how far we've fallen into a kind of tyranny where, like I said, in many cases, the amount of money extorted from us called income tax is almost at 40% levels here in Canada, and probably the same in other places across the world. So we're not as free as you think, and we have not been as free as you think. You don't even know where all that money goes. It gets spent on just ridiculous areas, sent to other countries, bailing them out, giving relief here and there, and just things that I simply do not agree with, but I cannot do anything about it. So 40%, for every dollar I make, 40 cents of that is given to who the hell knows where, used on who the hell knows what. So back to mandatory masks that are not actually mandatory yet, but they're floating the idea. And I wouldn't, they made it mandatory to step out of your house in places in the United States, certain states like New York, New Jersey, now California's there, they have Rhode Island, and there's a couple other ones. Basically all Democratic run cities and democratically run states overall is where you see all the tyranny and all the BS, because Democrats like to ruin everything, and as much as they say they're liberal, they push the most ridiculous BS that I've ever seen in my life. That's just how I feel, and that's what I'm going to put in this video. Many moons ago, back until the late 1990s, I actually was a cabinet maker, and I did wear a mask because all the dust I was breathing on a continuous basis, and a lot of the dust actually had urea formaldehyde in it, which could cause cancer. So I did wear a mask most of the time. If I didn't, my nose would be plugged with all kinds of dust and chemicals. And I know how it is to wear a mask all day long. I did it for 10 bloody years, and it sucked shit. And there's a lot of problems with wearing masks. You simply cannot breathe. You're breathing your own carbon dioxide, which is not good for you. And you can start feeling lightheaded. I never did, but you can definitely feel lightheaded. And if you're driving with a mask on, once again, you're a massive idiot. Like I said before, all these idiots driving in their cars with masks on, face shields, gloves, they're in their cars by themselves. You are ridiculous. You're a moron, and I don't even know what the hell you're thinking. But in any case, some of these people, a lot of them are elderly, so I'm not going to knock them, but the younger folks are the big morons. But you can easily pass out because, like I said, you're breathing in your own carbon dioxide. So what's going to happen then? You're worried about getting this deadly COVID-19 virus, but then you have a much greater chance of getting in a car accident because you're breathing in your own carbon dioxide. And of course, you might get in a car accident because you might pass out. You never think about that, though. Of course not. Why would you? Because that involves using your brain. You don't want to think. You want other people to do the thinking for you. It's much easier, and it takes a lot less work and energy involved in that. You'd rather watch whatever the hell it is you watch, sports and the fake news and blah 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 blah, all that crap. And I've posted in this other videos that I've done. Theresa Tam and also our great Prime Minister Justin Trudeau have both stated that wearing masks don't necessarily help you, but they help others. So
if people want to wear a mask, that is okay. It protects others more than it protects you, because it prevents you from breathing or...
I guess everyone who's wearing a mask is doing it to help others, right? No, wrong. They just don't know, and they probably never read anything on it. I'm sure there's a couple people that I know that are wearing it to help their family members. I totally get that, and I understand that, and I can appreciate that. But for the general population, they're simply doing it because somehow they just think it helps them, which in actuality it really doesn't. And in any case, making anything mandatory is totally not what we're about as a country, and they're going down this road. So first we're going to have mandatory face masks. You know, you can't go into food stores, you can't get on the bus, you can't go to restaurants or whatever. I don't know how the hell you're supposed to eat in a restaurant wearing a mask. I don't know. But in any case, so once that's step one, and then step two is going to be, well, you know, that we've got the vaccines ready to roll. We're not going to make them mandatory, but then eventually, you know, the news will come out, have a question. Should we make the vaccine mandatory in order to visit small businesses, in order to get on the subway SkyTrain system, in order to take a flight, in order to get your food from local food stores? And that's just how it starts. And eventually, like I've said before, once the big chains fall in line, they set the precedent, then pretty much all the other small mom and pop shops and stores will follow in line, and pretty soon you can't go back to a normal life unless you're wearing a mask. And then after that, well, we got the vaccine. We have the vaccine. You don't have to wear a mask, but now we're going to have to make the vaccine mandatory. So it's just it's a slow rollout, one step at a time, and pretty soon, one step at a time can lead you to a lot of different places, right? If you're walking one step at a time, eventually you'll be miles away from where you were in the beginning. And that's exactly what happens in these situations. It's just a matter of time, and just a matter of different things happening, and it's just a matter of people acquiescing and following, going in line. Anyways, back to the masks that they want to make mandatory, which are not here, but they definitely are now in California. Fucking jeez, what am I, drunk already? California and New York State and other states, particularly in the Northeast for the most part, they're making them mandatory. So, like, the thing is, it's summertime. California is hot in the summer. New York is hot in the summer. New Jersey is hot in the summer. Rhode Island's hot in the summer. Most places are very warm in the summer. So now when you're walking around, you got to walk around with a fucking mask on like an idiot. And like I said, everyone they look like a bunch of drones. Everyone literally looks like an NPC, a non-playing character. They look like robots. They don't look like real people. You can't see their facial expression. You can't see what they look like. Everyone's got these white masks on, or if you want, you can wear your own mask. And the thing is, they're not looking at these masks. When you go into the stores, you can pretty much wear whatever the hell you want. And they're like, oh yeah, you're good. All they want you to do is protect your mouth. Well, how do you know that these personal masks people are making are even doing anything? And for the most part, they're not. And even if you look at the masks that they're actually offering you when you go to Whole Foods and Costco, it's the same BS light blue masks, and they don't even cover your whole mouth. They cover your mouth, but around your nose area right here, there's gaps and stuff like that. Like, I guess you can make the case maybe they do help a bit, but at the end of the day, what the hell are we getting help from? When I've said a million times, like, the death rate is so low, almost every single person is actually totally recovering from this. Over 99% of the people are recovering. So what the hell are we doing? We're just in this movie. Everyone's playing their role, pretending to be an actor. Like, when is humanity going to rise up? And I know more people are starting to question things, and more people are starting to wonder, like, why are we continuing to do this? I thought we were supposed to only flatten the curve, and then everything would get back to normal. Now we are here, going basically 4 months later, and things really haven't progressed. Now all of a sudden they're introducing mandatory masks 3-4 months into the whole equation in summer. Like, doesn't the flu and the cold die in the summertime? This is the time when things are supposed to die, but now we got to wear masks and stuff like that. Like, you have to ask more questions. You can't just simply follow blindly. And a lot of people are still doing that because for some reason, as soon as they see it on the TV news or as soon as they see local health officials or their president or prime minister talking, they kind of just let their guard down and they let those people do the thinking for them, and they just as soon as they see those people, they just blindly trust them. Why? Why would you just blindly trust these people just because you've been told to all your life? I guess you're still acquiescing and following. Things are changing. Let's keep up with the times. Stop being a sucker and thinking that these people are there for your benefit. Like I've said in many other videos, these people are not there for your benefit. And for the most part, many times they don't even know what the hell they're doing. Like how many times has the chief medical health officer in Canada, Theresa Tam, and Dr. Bonnie Henry here in British Columbia stated that masks are no good and now they're okay. Now, yeah, maybe we should wear them. And it's like, oh yeah, don't go, stay safe, flatten the curve, stay indoors, and you don't want to be any closer than 6 feet, and you want to be less than 10 people, which they're still stating, be within your circle of 10 people. But meanwhile, I went to the end of the lockdown protest 3 or 4 times. There's like up to 400 or 500 people, 400 people max, I think, at one. And then, we were called granny killers. We were called, selfish people, dangerous. I hope you guys die from COVID. You're COVIDiots and all this crap. And then a couple of weeks later, they had the Black Lives Matter marches and protests, and that was completely fine. Meanwhile, they had over 100 times the amount of people we did, 5,000-6,000 people, and Dr. Bonnie, Theresa Tam, and even Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he himself was at some of these marches in Ottawa. Like, where's the hypocrisy here? And people still trust these people? Are you fucking idiots? Get your head out of your asses, really. Like, you stupid morons, you're following these people. They're leading us down a path that we're just losing more and more of our freedoms, and it's your guys' fault. It's you're the ones that are responsible for it. Every single one of you is responsible for this. Together, we, 1 plus 1 plus 1 will obviously lead to millions of people, and you people just simply following the crowd, going in line, not asking questions, blindly following your leaders and your trusted officials. Well, you're just leading us down a path of tyranny. And that's simply what it is. Like you really have to stop acquiescing. Use your own God-given brains and ask questions. Look at things, research things. Like you might think, what's the big deal? You wear a mask for a little while. Well, a little while. It's been almost 3 months since the stupid COVID-19 thing took place, and we're still essentially locked down. And now we're allowed to go out. Even that, we're allowed to go out. What do you mean we're allowed to go out? I thought this was a free country. Now we're allowed to go out, but we have to wear masks when we're in more than a few people. And then what? Then you got to get the vaccines. Oh, they're not going to be mandatory, but then they will be eventually. And then what? Your kids are going to wear masks at school. If my kids have to wear a mask when they're in their classroom, they're not going back to school. I don't give a shit. I'm not following all this stupid crap. I don't like it. I don't want my kids to be subjected to this nonsense when I think the whole thing is way overblown and we still have to continue following these lines. Oh, stay safe and help us flatten the curve and all this stuff. No, I don't want to help you flatten anything. I want to help flatten your fucking face. If you keep following this stupid bullshit day in and day out, they keep coming on the news and they have their little updates every afternoon. I don't even listen to that crap like I've said in other videos. It's stupid and it's ridiculous. We have to start thinking for ourselves. It's not that hard. All you do is you use Google and start searching for things. Ask questions on Google and just read a bunch of different sources and see if it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, maybe don't follow it. And if it does, maybe follow it. I don't know. Use your sense. Use your common sense. And if you don't have any, well, I guess we're all going to be screwed. If enough people in the world don't have any common sense, I guess we pretty much will be screwed, because we're going to let the people at the top dictate exactly how our lives are run, good or bad. That's how it's going to work. Anyways, that's enough of that. Start using your head. Do you want to wear a mask everywhere? Do you want masks to be mandatory? It sounds like a small, frivolous thing, but at the end of the day, it will lead to bigger things like vaccines that will become mandatory. Hopefully not. Hopefully the masks don't become mandatory either. I don't want any of this. I'm sick of it. I don't even want to leave my house half the time anymore, because every time when I'm in my house, everything's normal, obviously. As soon as you leave your house, you got to drive around. You see all these idiots walking around with masks, people driving with masks and all these dumb signs everywhere, these stickers on the ground 6 feet apart, and there's lineups when you go to the grocery stores, banks, and everywhere else. Like, I just want to leave. I don't want to even be a part of this society. I'm totally embarrassed by the rest of the human population. Like, I can't believe how people fell for this whole thing so easily. And even 3 months into it, when you can easily search up facts and data, people are still just following the whole thing. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this on social media. Like, I don't know what else to say. Just